Ben Shapiro is an author. He is a talk show host. He is a senior fellow at the David Horowitz Freedom Center. He's an editor-at-large at Breitbart News. He's a concert violinist, and he's also a good friend. Hey, Ben, thanks for joining us.
Hey, thanks for having me.
So, seriously, you and I, we both share a loathing of the odious tactics of the left, like Media Matters and Center for American Progress, trying to intimidate advertisers to get them off of shows like the Rush Limbaugh Show or Fox News. Why are you using those tactics?
Because they work. We can either sit here and whine about it, or we can actually use the means of the left against the left, and we can hold them to their own standard. Apparently, according to the left, it's perfectly fine to go after Rush Limbaugh's advertisers and make life miserable for them. But it is completely out of bounds to go after the advertisers of folks like Al Sharpton, and anybody who makes a comparison between the race baiter and racial arsonist, who is Al Sharpton, and Rush Limbaugh, is beyond insane. There is no comparison whatsoever. But according to the left, it's okay to boycott one and not the other. And so we're holding them to their own standard on this.
All right. Well, we've actually thrown out this question to our audience.
Yeah, our listeners are on your
they're
side.
They're absolutely 1,000% on your side. Larry and I think they'll have some concerns, and the concerns are, well, look, it's a tactic that we decry. Why do we adopt their tactics? That's one argument. The other thing is, we should stand as conservatives, as proponents of free speech, and advertising is a form of speech.
Well, sure it is, but I've never called for government intervention in any of this. And so exercising market power, making people aware of where exactly the dollars that they spend are going in the chain is not a violation of free speech. In fact, it's in certain ways an enhancement of free speech. I mean, when the civil rights members were boycotting the buses in Birmingham, that was not a violation of free speech. That was a use of free speech. This is the same sort of thing. Conservatives, for a long time, have basically been told that their only option when it comes to things like Al Sharpton is just turn off the TV, don't watch MSNBC. So they don't. Conservatives don't watch MSNBC. There's only one problem. There are a lot of people who still do, and they listen to the lies and the race baiting of folks like Al Sharpton, and they believe it, and it has an impact on the debate, and it divides America. So, look, my feeling is this. I wish that we lived in a world in which everybody, had the wherewithal to speak truth, and was not lying and was not race baiting, and I wish we lived in a world where advertisers advertised on shows that were truthful. Unfortunately, advertisers generally aren't aware even of where their own money is going. I mean, if companies don't even know where their own ad dollars are going because they use ad agencies, and they go on shows like Al Sharpton, and the American people sit there and those shows continue to be promoted.
Ben Shapiro is our guest, and his new enterprise that he has launched this week is called truthrevolt.org. That's the website. It's a nonprofit. You do it with David Horowitz. And here, you've worked in media for years, Ben. You know what happens here. Corporations, you're going after Ritz Cracker right now, right? You're saying that people should boycott Ritz Cracker because they advertise on the Sharpton show. Ritz Cracker, they're not a conservative company. They're not a liberal company. They're not blue. They're not red. They care about money. And what ends up happening, you know this, Ben, that corporations just decide, you know what, news and politics, it's just not worth it. Let's just pull our advertising from all of that kind of content, whether it's conservative or liberal. So ultimately, you're hurting conservative media as well.
Well, I mean, I think that if we have that much impact, I'll be extremely happy. If advertisers decide that they are out of the entire political business because of us, that will not be a net loss to conservatives, considering the vast majority of advertising dollars go to liberals. I mean, let's be real about this. I mean, despite the fact that advertisers do spend money on things like talk radio, and they do spend money on right-wing internet websites, the reality of the situation is that they spend a multiple of that on left-wing. So, and by the way, the left is using this tactic on us. So we can either sit here and we can complain, and we can say, oh no, we can't use this tactic because of the general impact. Or we can recognize that Media Matters, for all of our hatred of Media Matters, has been a tremendously successful organization. Media Matters has been tremendously successful. I mean, they've been able to so impact the debate that you see, talk show hosts are scared of this.
Have they, though? I mean, they're major targets. They launched the whole, get Fox News off the air. Fox News is going strong. They tried to get Rush Limbaugh off the air. He just re-signed his contract with this station. He's going strong.
Ben, I was on the receiving end of a lot of Media Matters stuff, back when I was over at Fox News. They came at me virtually every day. And after some point, you just sort of consider it a badge of honor. I wasn't really worried about it.
Yeah, well, I listen. They've come after me too. I mean,
in spades. I mean, and you're charging along.
Well, they look. I can continue to move along, but the fact is that they have had an impact on folks ranging from Rush to Glenn Beck to Lou Dobbs to Don Imus. They do have an impact on the debate. They do have an impact on advertisers. I mean, there's a reason the advertising base for conservatives has shrunk, while the advertising base for the left has maintained exactly the same. If you don't think that Media Matters has had any impact at all, I'm not sure why everyone on the right is so annoyed with them. I think they've had a tremendous impact, and I think that Andrew Breitbart did not fight down. I really don't. Andrew really hated Media Matters, and I never invoke Andrew, but Andrew was the one who really made me aware of Media Matters in the first place, and Andrew believed that they had a tremendous impact on the debate. I agree with him. I think they do have a tremendous impact on the debate. I think that they have created a feeling that is immoral, that among many advertisers and a lot of the public, that it is quote unquote immoral to support any companies that support conservative causes, that is something that the left needs to feel. Here's my ultimate goal. In the end, one of two things will happen. Either there will be a mutually assured destruction that comes about, in which Media Matters decides that it's not that the left pressures folks like Media Matters, and they say, you know what, we're sick of this battle. We don't want it anymore. Or we're going to have to go to war, because we can sit here and we can sit on our hands and we can have the high ground. The only problem is that at the end of this high ground that we've been walking along, there's a cliff, and that cliff is electoral loss. The reason that we continually lose is because we refuse to get down to the muck with the Democrats. We can have the moral high ground. We're just going to lose all the time.
All right.
So it depends. So we can. The bottom line is this: you have to embrace the controversy. You have to embrace you have to use their own tactics against them. That is the goal here.
I hear you, Ben. And listen, you invoked Andrew. Andrew also would say that more voices, not less. Let's not set up a situation where we're trying to silence people. But listen, you and we're good friends. We work together, and I think this and your hatred of Les Miserables are the only things we disagree on. So,
well, then I'm with you on that one, Ben.
Yeah,
thanks, Ben.
And we're right. I'm right on both.
It's 8:40. Thank you, Ben. Good day.